Hey there gardeners, Chris from Steading here. I wanted to show you my new 3 IBC setup with our new self-wicking garden beds. As you can see, they're in place. 2 of them we got the mulch on, 1 of them we do not, and that one needs a bit of a top up with the water. Probably a water from the top as well, and then we'll do that for a day or 2 and then we'll put our mulch on. These ones already mulched because they were done a little bit earlier, and I have left the absolute chaos around them in place just because it's probably a good idea to get a bit of an idea of what's involved. I've seen a lot of videos where people have done the IBCs, and obviously they've presented it really, really well and shown how to do it very quickly. However, I think the reality is that this kind of job is going to take you a fair bit of time. You've got to cut an IBC in half. You have then, and you're cutting not only the frame, but also the tub on the inside. You then also need to work out your wicking material and your soil mix that you're going to put in it. You need some geotextile fabric to separate the two, which is important. Your wicking material needs to go in the bottom, and you also need a filler tube and a drainage pipe. And the filler tube, most people seem to put it onto some ag pipe in the middle, which is a good idea. That's what I did. The drain pipe is basically like a tank fitting that you screw in place by drilling a hole through. Again, not that hard. And then you need to fill it with your wicking material. I used river washed sand because it seemed to have the best wicking properties, but it doesn't have a lot of water storage properties, so that's a trade-off. However, we've got some voids in the bottom where it'll contain water. In this one and this one here, it's milk crates. In the next one along, it's storage boxes that we bought discounted from Bunnings. Really, really cheap because you're trying to keep the cost down. But the reality is that each of these beds is a fair investment. I would say probably at least 150 bucks, probably closer to 200 bucks, being realistic. Because what you need to keep in mind is half an IBC, and this is the big half, and that's just the way I cut them because that's the way I wanted to do it, is probably, let's say 60 bucks. Your sand, your wicking material, probably another 40, and this is buying it in bulk, this is not buying it in bags. Your ag pipe, you're gonna use maybe a third of a roll of 20 meters. So again, probably like 20, 25 bucks. Your tube, and I've got like a little mozzie stopper on the top. That's not that expensive, but it does add up, maybe 10 bucks. Your tank fitting, these ones that I used on these were like a $8 fitting from Bunnings. They're very, very cheap, but they're not great quality. The ones that I used on the original lot, which were like a high quality proper plumbing fitting, which if I was doing anything really essential, I'd be using the $25 ones. That's a fair bit more for our little drainage pipe. And I did use a little short section of pipe on the inside as our outward drain. So that adds like $1. Geotextile fabric, if you're putting milk crates or you're putting boxes in the bottom and you're wrapping them in geotextile fabric so that they can hold water, but they're not going to fill with sand, that is going to use some of your geotextile fabric, and that's going to add on to your cost. I think I used a 10-meter roll between these 3 beds, but I had a bit left over from the previous roll. And while the beds themselves probably only need 2 meters of that each, they do need the extra geotextile fabric for the void boxes. So yeah. And then the soil, I may have even been underestimating the soil cost, because while the core I buy secondhand for say 10 bucks per one of these, I still needed, I think, probably 6 bags of various composts to get a nice mixed compost. And then I used a pretty big amount of vermiculite as well. And you can buy a bag of vermiculite, 100-litre bag, for 45 bucks in the city, but out here rurally, they're more like 75 bucks. So yeah, keep that in mind. I think I went through 2 100-litre bags to do the 3 beds, which is 90 bucks split between the 3. So like 30 bucks of vermiculite per bed, which is not that bad when you think that 6 bags of compost would have been 60 bucks. Is that everything? Obviously for me, I needed to put retaining walls in to hold them. We're not going to include that in the cost at all. Hopefully for you, you've got somewhere flat to put them. And I did just chuck a couple of handfuls of blood and bone and a little bit of fertilizer in down when I was filling them with soil. And yeah, I think we're pretty good to go now. Oh, maybe, you know, your sugarcane mulch, but there's probably $1 of sugarcane mulch on each of these. So it's not a big cost, but the realistic overall cost of each of these adds up. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea, and definitely give these a go, because our first 3, which I'll show you, are going amazing. And you can see here we've got our zucchini trying to escape. Hopefully we'll get some fruit off it, because one of the issues we've had with all of our zucchini is they have not fruited or veggied because we don't have the pollinators. So it's been a really disappointing year for zucchini. Got our tomatoes on the end there, we've already got fruit growing on it. There's some basil in the middle of that one and a little bit of dill hidden away in the shadow, and radishes actually. And I probably need to give that one a bit more of a fertilize, because they are a very hungry set of crops in there, in that one. Over in this one, we've got like some radishes, some silver beet, some beetroot, and I think a cauliflower. The capsicums we put in at the back have done really nothing, and I think probably it would be an idea to take them out. And as I said, zucchini. And in this one here, excitingly, we seem to be having our first success with carrots. And one of the things with these garden beds is the soil is very light and friable. So for something like carrots, it's kind of ideal. It's a really, really good way. And if you haven't been able to grow them before, this might be a good way of trying again. We've also got some onions that we've grown from seed that have come up. They seem to be struggling a little bit, but it might just be because it's so hot. We're in the subtropics, and while it should be getting cooler, it's been very, very hot on some days. We've also got, I think, some more beet and more carrots. So overall, super happy with these beds. Particularly happy that we've obviously got our basically tomatoes growing quite well and getting some good output from these, which is what you're after.